listening to our iHeartRadio album release party with Harry Styles.
Harry Styles, I recognize that voice.
What a joy.
How are you, man?
I will only be speaking to Sisanie and Tanya directly.
I'm becoming used to this, Harry. I'm quite familiar with this concept now.
How are you?
It is great to see you. Harry Styles joining us now. It is officially out. Harry's House is out today. Yay. Something you've known is coming for a long time. But what are the emotions? What are the feelings that you have knowing the world can now consume these songs?
I think like it's always a little bit, it's like your secret for so long. Sometimes there's like a little moment of like, oh, it's not mine anymore. But but it's really like freeing. I think you like. It's kind of feels like it's in a vault for so long, and you feel so like protective of it, and then just being able to like play it loud and let people hear it is really fun, and ultimately kind of what it's for. So I'm really, really excited, and I'm really happy with the album, and I'm really excited that people are gonna be hearing it now.
It's very stressful to hear the album and then talk to you immediately, because we haven't had a chance to live with it, right?
Right.
Because I think you hear it differently every time you listen to a song.
1,000%.
There's upbeat stuff. There's delicate. I mean, there's a delicate track or two as well. Actually, I started listening to Boyfriends, Harry. I did Cinema and then Boyfriends, but
Tanya listened to that one first, I think. So.
How did you know?
Well, that's kind of
really?
You may know her well, actually. Yeah. But for Boyfriends, I kind of pictured what it might be like on stage, and I don't know if you've conceived the look of it yet, but to me, it's like this intimate spotlight. There you are. There's the microphone. No movement. Your feet are just in the cement right there in the center of the stage. There's some white sheer fabric somewhere blowing with light fan wind.
Oh, okay, nice.
I mean, and you feel like you're just alone with you in the arena. Is that how you're going to perform it, Harry?
Oh, you really thought about it.
Yeah.
I think that'll be a kind of more intimate moment for sure.
Yeah.
I think, I guess like sonically on the album, it's probably the most, the one that kind of stands out the most, because it's the most kind of bare. But I think, I guess like, I like so many different types of music, and I love playing lots of different types of music and making them. So I think for me, like, it's important to, like, I kind of react to music when listening to albums as it's kind of a journey that someone has intended for me to go on. So I think like, when it comes to laying them out, it's definitely, I want to listen to it and make it feel like it takes me on something. And you don't want it to be like, oh, I'm in this place and now this is playing. Right. And I'm kind of like, that's not really where I'm at right now. So I want it to be like a kind of thing for you to kind of experience. Boyfriends, I think, it's just kind of probably the most intimate. So I would imagine it's something like that. I don't know if we'll have the wind with the white drape.
Well, I'll send you the storyboards. I've got it all sort of mapped out.
All right, perfect.
Boyfriends, brand new from Harry Styles on our iHeartRadio album release party for Harry's House. I'm your host, Ryan Seacrest, along with Sisanie and Tanya. We fortunately got a chance to preview it, and we all took the album on differently, Harry, because as it was, we know that song that's been on the radio, and we've run into people in the wild, I say, out in places, singing it out loud to themselves.
Yeah,
right. They hear and they're just singing out loud to themselves. It's that kind of record. But when we got all of the tracks, I think there's 13 in total. I first read the lyrics, which might have been a strange exercise, because when I read them in speaking voice, and then when you hear the lyrics, it all makes so much more sense with melody. And you did it, Sisanie. Which way?
Well, I feel like we all took different approaches when we heard the album. I respectfully listened to it from start to finish. I feel like that is the way that Harry wanted it for us.
And I take the approach where I listen to the songs where I think are going to be my favorites, because I feel like I know you and I know which ones are going to be my favorites. So I go to my favorites first, and then I go.
It's an interesting approach, but I respect it. Yeah.
But when you put the track list together, do you have an intention of how people might listen to it or how you envision them listening to it?
Yeah, I think sequencing is probably the part I find the most stressful, because it's essentially finished and then you just have to, you're just listening to it a ton of different ways. And I think there's some things that feel like instinct. So it feels like, okay, this is the last song and this is the first song. And then you can kind of feel like what feels good with this one and then what feels good in the middle. And I think this was the longest I've spent on kind of putting it in order, for sure.
Daylight from his new album, Harry's House. I'm Ryan Seacrest with Sisanie and Tanya on our iHeartRadio album release party with Harry Styles. Sisanie?
Who was the first person that you presented your completed album to? Who was the first person to listen to it?
Wow. I think the first person to listen to it finished was my manager. I think probably. I mean, he obviously
wasn't your manager listening to it while you were along the way? Like, I'm saying, like,
a little bit.
Was there anybody from start to finish that had
when it was finished?
Yeah, that had not heard anything.
First person to hear it from start to finish. I think it was. I think it was Ben Harper, actually.
Wow.
Really?
He was probably one of the first people to hear it from start to finish who hadn't heard anything.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I think it was him, actually. Yeah.
Really cool.
And he played on Boyfriends. And that was kind of after. I don't know if that counts as finished, but it was
No, but that's fine. Okay. I'll allow it.
So yeah, it might have been Ben, actually.
That's really cool.
Yeah.